Hello beautiful people, my name is Jo and welcome to today's video. This one is for all you parents, caregivers and guardians who are raising children that might be questioning their gender identity. For example, if you have a daughter and they say, I feel like I'm in the wrong body, or I feel like I want to be a boy, or vice versa. I'm going to give you some advice, tips and links for you to get support. You are not alone and already you're doing an amazing thing by clicking on this video because that shows that you are trying to do the best thing. Grab a cuppa, get comfy and let's get started. Just so you know, I am not a parent. I am a parent of a dog, if that means anything. However, I have had parents ask me in the past for advice. I've also come out twice to my parents, once when I was 17 coming out as a lesbian, and then again probably last year, 35, coming out as a non-binary person. So I do have a little bit of knowledge on this subject. I'll be doing a few videos on these topics for parents, so please keep an eye out for those. Also, if you have anything in particular that you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments section below. First things first, when they are opening up to you, hold that space for them and let them say how they are feeling. It's amazing that they've come to you and feel safe and love you and trust you enough to be able to talk to you about it. So show them the same respect in return. You don't have to say anything in particular, you don't have to know exactly the right thing to say, like, okay, we can do this, we can do this. It's just knowing that you are there for them, you still love them no matter what, and you support them on this journey. You could just say something as simple as, I'm here for you, I love you, and... Rocco, you're such a stinker boy. I'm here for you, I love you, and I support you no matter what. This will then let them know that they have somewhere that they can be themselves and be safe to do that. It's going to take them a little bit of time to work out who they are. It's taken me a hell of a long time. Be patient with them. This is their journey. If you're having open, honest conversations from as early as possible, this is all going to help. And I think this covers all relationships, really. This will make them feel at ease with you in any scenario. So even if they change their mind or they don't really know what's going on, if they know that they can communicate with you about how they're feeling, it's going to make it a whole lot easier. As much as you'd like to help your children, give them advice and any tips that you want to give them, it is very much, as I said, their journey and they will go at it at their own pace. I would avoid taking control of the situation, and this might seem a little bit alien, letting the child take the lead. And I'm not saying that in all situations because, I don't know, ice cream for breakfast is probably not the best thing to have. But in this situation, I'd definitely let your child take the lead. I can understand that some children and teenagers are pretty hard to communicate with. They don't like talking about their emotions. They don't even know what emotions are. Or there's just like one emotion. If you can get them to open up at all, amazing. Some responses and thoughts might take longer than others to process. Allow some time for thinking and to contemplate these feelings and emotions. I think there's a lot of different language that we can use to make it a little bit easier for our children. The whole gender rolling, stereotypes, I think avoiding those in general is very important, especially if your child is having feelings about their gender identity. I do have a video on language, so please check that one out when you can. I think society has a massive role on what is supposed to be normal and what is accepted in society, especially when it comes to the binaries of gender, the binaries being man or woman. There's a lot more acceptance and representation now than 5, 10, 15 years ago. And I think kids are responding really well and being a lot more fluid with their gender identity and their sexual orientation. Young people also have a lot more language. They tend to judge less when you're younger. They don't have all this like judgment going on like we do as adults. So you could learn a lot from them and how they just naturally behave, whilst being really aware of the language that you're using and any stereotypes that you're kind of like pushing on them. And this might be unconscious, but if you just try and realise some of the language that you're using, some things might be quite damaging for them. For example, oh, you can't play with that, that's a girl's toy if they're a boy, or you can't wear that, or you can't play with that because of the gender. At this early stage of your child opening up to you, the main point is to allow fluidity, allow that change. Don't write anything off. It might mean that later on down the line your child does want to transition, but at this stage it's just allowing them to be their true authentic selves and to be comfortable and safe doing that with you. You will not understand how they are feeling. You quite possibly have never felt like you're in the wrong body. That does not mean that their feelings are not valid. They might not have the vocabulary to explain it to you. That doesn't mean what they're feeling isn't real. We have a tendency to be afraid and be scared of things that we do not know and do not understand. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. Probably at some point they have been told what they are feeling isn't right, either by their friends or by the news or social media or something. So they need that kind of reassurance that they aren't wrong. They are a human being and they deserve to be who they are. Most of the time, when you find out more about something, it's not actually that scary, unless it's a jellyfish, because those are really scary. Hello, it's future me. Something that I wanted to say that I haven't mentioned is to let your child experiment whilst they're at home. So if you have a boy who is questioning their gender and maybe wants to experiment a little bit with makeup, then maybe you could help them do that at home, or playing with clothes and that type of thing. The best place is to do it at home with you, where there's no one else and they can just be free to be themselves. Depending on the conversations that you're having with your child and what stage they are at, it might be worth talking to their school or college. You might feel like this is too early to do this, and it might be once you've kind of established a little bit more of what the situation is, but I definitely feel like it is really important to talk to the school or college because they spend most of their time there. These are also like really trustworthy people that they need to be able to speak to. They need to be made aware of what is going on, just in case there's certain issues that do come up. Then they know what could be causing those issues. Please be aware if your child isn't ready to talk about their gender identity at school. Again, letting the school know that. You might just want to say, look, my child is a bit confused about their gender. We're having chats at home about it. I just want to make you aware, but they are not ready to open up about it outside of home. They might not be ready, but at least the school knows and can be prepared for any situation. And then keep them updated with the progress of what's going on. So some takeaway tips for you is to go ahead and do a little bit of research online. I've put some links in the description box below that you might find useful for support and advice. As I said, I'm also going to do more videos on this sort of subject for parents, such as how to cope if your child is LGBTQ+, support for parents, and some more advice for parents if your child does decide to change their gender identity, if they're transgender or if they're non-binary or any of the other gender identities. I think it's important for us all to educate ourselves, even if your child is not questioning their gender identity or LGBTQ+. It's really important as parents to kind of keep up with everything that's going on. There's a lot more terminology for people to learn. So please check out my other videos. I'll put links everywhere. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video and found it useful. Please share it because you never know who might be experiencing the same thing as you. The more you talk about it with your friends, the more you ask questions, the more you reach out, the more you're going to learn and realise that you're not alone. We all make mistakes and it's never too late to learn and change your way of thinking. Please reach out and take care of yourselves too. This is a process for everyone involved and no one should feel like they're alone or without support. Thanks, see you next week.